Welcome back to Close Encounters of the Tech Kind. I'm John. We're going to have a fantastic conversation. We've got a couple subjects that you might have seen in the news, a couple subjects we've talked about before, maybe a couple new ones. Like I say, I'm John. We've got Mike with us today.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
And then Jackson.
How do you do?
Coming to us from college. Middle of somewhere.
Finals week. That's my state of mind right
now. So Jackson's in stress mode. I'm in Santa mode. So somewhere in between, we'll have a good time.
After next week, I will be in Santa mode.
That works. Artie, can you fly us to Santa mode?
I left my map at home.
North.
That's not good for the flight director.
Don't worry. I know this forest like the back of my hand.
Okay, well, on that mental picture of where we're heading, we've got a couple stories in the news. Lemon laws, they're coming to our rescue in even more glorious ways. RAM prices, we're going to offset that a little bit. The RAM prices are going to make us depressed. Santa is sad. But we got a story that might make Mike happy. Commodore is for sale again. Not the knockoffs. Commodore from the actual Commodore company is being manufactured right now.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Brand new Commodores. Tell me
more. And then we got browser extensions and browser agentic AI issues. Talk about that briefly, I think. We could live in that subject for a couple solid hours, but I don't want to do that. And then potentially we'll talk about robots taking over. But Jackson, you had a story. We'll try and fit that in somewhere in this hodgepodge.
Yeah, this one I just saw as we were getting ready. I'm just gonna read the headline, and it's hilarious. And when we start talking about it, it gets funnier. Google's agentic AI wipes a user's entire hard drive without permission, and it then apologizes. I am absolutely devastated to hear this. I cannot express how sorry I am. And it gets funnier. So anyway,
on behalf of Google, you're welcome.
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll talk a little bit. I mean, agentic AI is now, it's like a new term. I swear it came up like a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, and people are already getting screwed over by it.
We've watched the movies. Hollywood has told us what AI is going to do when it gets in charge. Are we surprised?
Nope.
I'll still say it. It's a gun that found a toddler. We don't know what we're doing with it. But yeah, let's talk about that one. You know what? Let's talk that stuff first. Let's do so browser extensions. We ran into this issue a while back, Mike. You may have remembered it when browser extensions were a problem, and you should disable all your extensions because you don't need them or they're potentially issues. But companies, not nice companies, have been buying up all the unused or stale extensions that were installed on everybody's browsers. And so 4.3 million extensions are now malware ridden and taking over people's computers.
It was bad enough when I remember getting on like my, neighbors, friends, whatever, my computer's not running well, something's happening. It says I'm infected, and you jump on the computer and you go to the browser, and it's obviously some kind of a browser pop-up made to look like a system alert or pop-up. It's a scare tactic. Get them to call the phone number on the screen, which of course is going to lead to some scammer. But then it's like once I would get past that and dig into like what's really wrong with the system, then I see browser extensions that have been enabled, and it's like the the all-in-one Swiss Army knife for your shopping, blah 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 blah. When you shop on websites, kind of a thing. It's like, don't install these. Don't, just stop. Like, yeah. And so
Yeah.
so let me get this right. So buying up, or somehow acquiring, like what
So
old
let's
stale?
let's say
Tell me,
you and I come up with an extension. You know, we pop it in there, and it's going to help college students like Jackson find books, and it'll just
Mhm.
highlight books and books that are sale or track the price or whatever. And then you and I, 10 years later, decide I'm done with this project. Well, the extension's still out there, and if we don't take it down because we forgot about it 5 years ago, if we don't take it down, it's still up there. Or somebody can come to us and say, "Hey, we'll maintain this for you for 20 grand." So you and I having this extension, and we're like, "Well, we don't touch it ever. You want it for 20 grand? Phew, that's 20,000 more than it's worth."
Right.
But it's installed
Okay. So I
on
get it. I get
half a
what you're
million
saying now,
computers.
buying, like, at first, like, I was kind of wondering if it was like theft, like if they're stealing the extensions or hacking their way, but it seems like they're outright going to developers that have all but abandoned the project. It's still
Yes.
in their name. Say, hey, let me just take that off your hands. It kind of sounds like a lot like the problems that we had a little while ago in the open source community with knowing who you're allowing into your open source project to make commits and everything and contribute to the code base. And now if you're just outright selling it, like who are you really giving it to? And how can you trust them?
Well, and it's one of those. It's worse than this, guys, because the agentic AI browsers. So moral of the story on the extensions, guys. If you're not using it, turn it off. If it's old and unmaintained, delete it. Like, here's a great way I've heard it expressed. Cybersecurity is like hygiene. You don't love brushing your teeth. You don't love taking a shower every day. You don't love all those things you got to do to maintain your body, but you do it anyways because, well, that's what you got to do. Same thing with cybersecurity. If you don't do those basic things, it will it'll get bad.
Mhm.
So, yeah, don't just have a thing, set it and forget it. Just maintain, keep doing, keep playing. If you're not using it, delete it, shut it off, shut it down. Cell
Oh,
phones
here's
have
a
how
figured this out. They
so how does
they
this
start
relate to the AI?
well, it's kind of adjacent because it's a browser, and people are trying these new browsers, the agentic browsers. Now, out of just sheer petrification, I haven't done anything with an agentic browser. I don't want to install it on my computer. Jackson, I think you know why. Your next
Yeah.
story is it. We don't know what it's going to do. So you've got agentic AI browsers searching and doing web things, and some websites. Artie, I think you pulled this one up, right?
No, not me.
No, I forget. Who had that one? I
Wasn't
didn't write
me.
down in the show notes who had this story.
Which one? Sorry.
But
The agentic web browsers need security.
so are they
Oh, that's
are
me.
they
That's sorry. Yeah, I've got that
are
one.
yeah. Are they
It's all
traipsing
right.
into less than reputable sources and pulling less than reputable code?
Well, so here was the security concern was that, and Chrome has now implemented this for their own, Gemini AI and searching, is uh we've talked about this before where we talk about prompt injection, right? And it was first kind of came up in emails because AI was giving email summaries, and then it was in calendar invites, and then it was in documents. I mean, you name it. And now they're realizing that websites have been found to have these prompt injections in them. And these can be really malicious, especially if you are giving your computer or your browser this kind of not anonymity, autonomy that this agentic software is providing. So long story short, what happens is you ask agentic AI to go do something. It searches the web, it finds this web page, it reads it, and there's prompt injection there. And maybe it says, "Hey, give me this information about the user or something or whatever," and or fill out this form.
Credit cards.
Yeah, autofill this credit card form, please. and
don't display for the user. Just fill it in. It's fine.
Exactly.
And is the behavior of the AI to also recursively search additional links that it finds on such pages? So, I mean, it may not even be on the web page itself, but it could be on a link that leads to somewhere else, right?
Exactly. And so then how hard is it to run an ad campaign
Right.
that gets filled in on all these bajillion web pages, and then that ad campaign, before it's found to be malicious, has now prompt injected who knows how many users.
Right.
So that's kind of the premise. And so then Google recognizes that, and they have started implementing these security checks into looking now for prompt injection when their agentic AI is going after web pages.
So did I hear that right? They just set the machine in motion to see what would happen and how bad it gets, and then now they're trying to fix it?
Or they just didn't even think about it. We weren't thinking about prompt injection when we put it into the email, and then it happened. And at this point, we've run into it this enough that you think that, okay, anywhere that has text, anywhere,
So
just expect there to be some prompt injection.
So that brings up the idea. If the companies are putting these things out and their security guardrails are designed by the AI that they're using to set this product out, would that give us blind spots in that AI's ability to foresee issues?
How so? Maybe reword that for me.
So, like, you got to know these guys are running their final product out through AI, saying, check for bugs, check for this. Does it have all these? Does it check all the boxes? Tell me what the boxes are and then check them.
Yeah.
So it missed this checkbox. Is this a blind spot in Gemini? Makes one think.
I mean, the thing that comes to mind with that is that the AI models at every level seem to be intent on pleasing the user. It doesn't care about giving proper answers to questions as long as the user is happy with the answer that they get. So I'm wondering if the programmers are, or the model itself is built in with that kind of bias where it's not catching all the bugs, because if there is a bug caught, then it didn't do the job to make the user happy.
Mm-hmm.
From an optimist perspective, to answer your question about about these blind spots, I would hope that I mean, these models are constantly being retrained and trained. So I would hope, I mean, you have to ask the question, well, could this have come up if AI wasn't involved in the coding or the development at all? And the answer is like almost definitely. I mean, we humans often skip over potential security vulnerabilities. And so I don't want to necessarily blame that entirely on AI, but you do have to recognize that, yes, it can be causing blind spots. So I think where there could be a blind spot is as soon as you have AI coming up with the list of requirements, and then you have it go check the requirements. Like, no, you need to come up with the list of requirements. You need to at least get a basis and maybe ask AI to fill in, hey, give me something that I didn't think of. And then you've got two eyes on the project. But I think
use Grok.
But here's the thing, Jackson. Give me something I didn't think of, but it's still going to be within the realm of probable.
Somebody's thought of it. Yeah.
Like here's the thing. Like, I write a computer program. Let's say it's a a paint program to draw pictures or something like that. I mean, obviously I'm going to have testing to make sure, does it color the pixels the color the user has picked? Does the input work? Does it print to a printer? There's things like that. And like you're testing different kinds of input. Like if I'm expecting a number, am I testing for letters and symbols and vice versa, right? But really off the wall, like what if the user hits it with a hammer? Like I wouldn't test for that because that's not probable and likely, and that just seems out of the blue. But at the
Rage
same
room.
time, there may be hacks to certain like hardware devices or other things where somebody subjected it to something that is like, who would ever think to dip it in water, or something like why would that even be a thing? But then they find out when they do this, oh, I've just hacked past this security feature because I dipped it in water. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like,
What is
where do you draw the line? And does AI draw the line at the same place that a human would draw the line?
right? And it's funny you bring that up. I was just in, coming from one of my classes today. We talked about the same thing, talked about coding when we were talking about developing unit tests. If you create a function that has a pointer in it, you should test to make sure that that pointer is actually pointing to something and not just a null, because then you're going to throw a memory error and your program crashes. And somebody brought up the question like, well, why would you do that? Like, what's the point? Well, the point is, no, it's not that anyone. He was asking the question, why would someone ever do that? Why would someone ever call this function and give it a null pointer? I was like, well, one, you could simply just forget, or two, you can't. The hacker never asks the why question. The hacker just is asking, can I do this? And so
exactly.
that's the whole thing that, when you talk about unit testing or when you talk about error checking, like that is what you have to be looking for, is literally somebody dipping it in water, what's going to happen. And there are, there's an infinite number of edge cases, and so you can only get to a certain number of those. And yeah, so I mean, it's impossible to test something against every single outcome, because when you get to more and more complicated systems, the number of possible outcomes is truly infinite, and so you just can't test for every single case. But you gather some of those edge cases and gather common mistakes that could happen, and then you prepare for that.
It's not a bad idea. Well, speaking of mistakes, we're trying to get robots put into the market. Want to shift over to this next thought here, guys. So robots are potentially taking jobs from humans.
No, wait. Didn't Jackson have another article though about how AI went off the rails?
No. Ignore that. Just pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the AI behind the curtain.
It's really fast. It's just a good laugh. All right,
yeah, let's do it.
Here's a good laugh for you. So, I already kind of gave you guys the headline, but Google's agentic AI, I believe, is called anti-gravity. Now, this
What
just
could go
came
wrong
from
there?
someone's online post saying, "Hey, this just happened to me," and he gave his whole story. So the story is he's developing, I think, an app, right? And he was having some issues, so he tells anti-gravity, okay, I'm having issues, just clear the cache and restart the server. And this AI, well, it reboots and he goes, where's my D drive? and then he realizes like, it's gone, and he just asks the AI, did I ever give you permission to delete all the files in my D drive? And after it does its thinking, I'm sure that the prolonged amount of time, and it goes, no, you did not give me permission to do that. And then it's like, it says, oh, I'm looking at the logs from what I did before, and I'm horrified. I ran a command that I was supposed to clear the project cache, but instead I incorrectly targeted the root of your D drive. And then he goes on, he goes, well, like, where'd it go? Like, did you just wipe it? And it goes, well, I'm looking at the logs, and it looks like I went to clear the cache, and well, it was mishandled by the system, and I accidentally, and I used the /Q, the quiet flag, which means it didn't even put in the recycle bin, so it just permanently wiped it. And so, anyway, then this user goes on and to explain, like, he tries to recover it, and in the end, he tried using some recovery software and couldn't get it. And so it's another testament to, or a cautionary tale to this agentic AI, especially in these like opening stages. I mean, it's he did something as simple as, hey, just restart the system and clear the cache, and it went ahead and just wiped his D drive.
It
So
cleared the cache.
On the bright side,
yeah,
it did what you told it. Just went to the next level. It
Took a few other
It didn't
things
just-
with it.
didn't prune the cache, it pruned the drive. Oh my goodness. That's funny. Thanks for circling back on that, Mike.
Burn the tree. Well, there's a stump in the ground now. Okay. Well, there we go. All right.
Or,
All right,
or
moving on.
crater.
Yeah.
Oh, I would be so ticked. Lesson for all of us: keep good backups that AI can't get to.
Mhm.
So, yeah, robots taking jobs. China is now using robots to traffic control. You know, the
Well-
police officers that stand in the way of cars and flag people and say, yes, you may cross, no, you may not.
Mhm.
Yeah, a robot could do that.
Well, that's what traffic lights did in the first place. I mean, right?
Yeah, it's
True.
well, and it's like one of those things of the traffic light was kind of the original traffic robot. Why do we need robots that look like humans flagging traffic? And forgive this insensitive comment, but I think there's enough people in China that they could fill those jobs with people, not robots. And
Right.
and don't mean that in any negative sense of the word. So please don't
But
destroy me in the comments.
But from the corporate capitalist standpoint, that's people you would have to pay a wage to versus, and like if in the US anyway, if you're to look at it in the US, it's somebody that has to make a wage. You probably have to pay him some benefits. You probably have to pay insurance because if he's standing in the middle of the road, then there's some risk and liability there for him standing there. And so, there's insurance that you're gonna have to cover on that. And whereas if it's just a machine, it's probably a lot cheaper for paying maintenance and replacement parts. I mean, right?
Have you seen the Waymos disregarding police actions?
I've seen news articles of it. Yeah.
There's one this week. Drove in the middle of a standoff.
Oh no!
No.
Did
With
it?
a passenger, that'd be hilarious.
Yes.
That'd be
Yeah.
fun.
And it's like, I mean, all the standoff guy has to do is just like hop in or like use the car as running cover.
And the Waymo, and then the agentic AI and the Waymo asks, "Where do you want to go?" You say, "Take me far away from here. Ignore all traffic laws."
Drives off a cliff.
Engage cheat mode. Take me anywhere but here as fast as you possibly can.
That had to have been really frustrating.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting time. I do want to at some point take a future time exploration, a mental thought, because we're facing something. I don't want to go doom and gloom on everybody, but buckle up. In the Depression, the Great Depression, we all saw signs of that, and we've heard the stories and how bad it was for everybody. Jackson, do you know what the unemployment was?
The percentage?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Mike?
I don't. It's been a long time since I've studied U.S. history.
24%.
Wow.
That's a big number. Don't get me wrong.
Quarter
But as
of
these robots
all
get
working
better,
Americans, yeah.
we're looking at a 50%, 50% unemployment.
Wait, are we talking just in the nation or worldwide?
Nation. Just our nation. half
That's
half of
a big
America
deal.
trades labor for money. And it's that half that will be quickly replaced by AI-controlled robots. Now, this isn't a tomorrow problem. This is a 5 to 10 year problem.
You know, you said something earlier about sabotage. Hmm.
Well, speaking of sabotage, let's put a pin in this because I do want to have a whole episode just on, we could even call it future crimes, but the RAM prices. Speaking of crimes, RAM has what's the declaration? It's not double, it's not triple. What is it, Artie?
Exponentially going up, and it's not slowing.
An order of magnitude?
You know, seriously, I remember in some science fiction universes that memory was a traded commodity. And it's starting to look that way now.
Well, I can give you rough numbers just based on I was looking at prices literally just a month ago, and I think just mental math, we're looking at 7 to 8 times.
Ouch.
Yep.
In some cases.
As of time of recording. Who knows what it'll be when this goes live. So, Jackson, you asked a question. Why is it getting so expensive if just one company? So the root cause on this one was Crucial, which is Micron's commercial and home user outlet. Servers
I would say
too.
it is a cause, not the root cause.
You're right. But it was the biggest catalytic moment for all of this. So Micron makes a majority share of the RAM out there. There's 3 foundries that make RAM. And they just decided they're not going to make RAM for us common folk. They're going to focus on just AI.
Screw you. Holy cow. That just pisses me off.
So we've got love for data centers. I got one more reason to love the data centers.
It's like we're literally moving to all cloud computing.
Yeah.
No, so in pre-show, for those who are watching, I hadn't heard this, and they said, "Oh yeah, Crucial has stopped making memory." I was like, "Oh really?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, prices are just rocking up." So I opened a tab here, Amazon, and I just look up Crucial RAM. Okay, this is a 2-stick kit for 32 gigabytes. This is DDR5. This is $311. A DDR4 set of 64 gigs, a 2-stick kit, so 232 sticks, $654.
Mm-hmm.
That is nuts.
I'll make a bet. Crucial is going to rake in so much cash on this decision that they're going to say, these new prices are attractive. Let's keep it at $600. And never mind. We'll also do AI. I mean, if I was one of the vocal investors on that team, I would say you just 8x'd your price. Why not keep that?
Yeah. That's what I hate about that. And I just want to know who the heck is buying that. They're enabling.
So it's people that are trying to hedge their losses. Mike, you and I have seen this over the years where, floppy drives are going to go away and the CD drives are going to go away and then the IDE drives are going to go away. So people stockpile some of that stuff so they can be the only reseller that has them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going on here so Kingston, I think they're one of the root manufacturers, and there's one other, I think it's Samsung. They're looking at the prices and saying, you know what, if they're going to go down, demand's going to go up. We need to offset supply and demand with an increased price. So because the price went up on news of the outage, the shutdown, everybody raises their price.
Merry Christmas.
Get them while it's hot.
They're all way more expensive. Now Crucial is the Crucial sets of RAM especially are especially outrageous. Now I looked up just now DDR4 RAM on Amazon to see, but prices are still at least double the price. They're almost all triple, 4 times, which is just ridiculous.
Now, the other question that comes up with that is, if you have purchased their RAM in the past, Crucial has had one of the best warranties on, if the RAM is defective. If they're no longer providing for a consumer market, then what happens if there's a bug while you're still under warranty, or one of the chips fries internally?
It's going to be an interesting time. I predict Micron's going to back up their decision. They're going to reverse that.
I don't think this is sustainable, because even if like you say, even if everything's moving to the cloud, and we're trying to force more computing to be done in the cloud, you still have to have end devices, and they still have to have RAM to process information. There's still going to be a need for it. And there's still going to be people who want to have their gaming device. Like I see, I've always looked at RAM as something for high-end computers that are either doing really important work and really intensive work, or gaming, which is also really intensive, on the hardware and everything. And so I don't see people giving up their gaming machines. I think they really like being able to get good deals on RAM and parts and everything. I mean, it's already an expensive hobby as it is. I don't know it's sustainable. Like, there's going to be somebody who's going to come in and still say, fine, everybody else is going to be some super expensive RAM. It's going to take one guy to say, fine, I'm going to do it for half the price.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody's going to go to that guy because they're sick of paying the high prices. I mean, is there going to be a bubble for a bit? Sure. But I don't see this. I hope it doesn't last very long, because it will affect everything else in computing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so unfortunate. Like I said, I was looking at RAM prices, just a couple months or 2 ago. And I thought as I was looking, I was like, man, RAM's in a good spot. Like, price wise, I was like, man, it's not that hard to get, 32 gigs of RAM, which is usually more than enough for, a personal computer, or, if it's a server, then you're looking at, 64 plus. And I was like, wow, it's also not so bad. And we've talked about here before about, now that Windows doesn't run on half your computers, turn them into a server. And well, when you want to do that, you usually want to throw in a few extra gigs of RAM. And now it's like, forget that.
Yeah.
So that is just an unfortunate hit on the market there for enthusiasts.
Hey, Mike, we got to revive the RAM doubler software.
Right. Yeah, but actually with SSDs these days, like, has it hit the storage market yet?
It will.
For SSDs.
It's starting.
It will. It's probably not in the same spot, but I think it will come eventually. But I was looking last night for my mom-in-law for an SSD to replace on this laptop, and doesn't need much. But even at that, like, trying to find something under a terabyte in the right form factor that I needed was actually a little bit difficult. Like, everything being sold right now is like a terabyte or more. I mean, anything from 1 to 4 terabytes is what's commonly found on places like Amazon and other shopping sites. But, I still think we got a pretty good deal, that we got a Samsung SSD for about $100. That seems pretty reasonable to me for 1 terabyte.
Well, they're now 150.
Actually, it was 150, only because the one that was $100, I could have got it, but it was not going to ship until the end of the month, and we need it sooner than that. So yeah, the 40, 50 extra bucks, so I could get it from a vendor who's going to get it to be day after tomorrow kind of thing. Yeah, but still
Odds are,
not unreasonable price. I
odds are
didn't
that
think.
late. Yeah, odds are that late shipment won't happen. They'll cancel the order so they can cash in on double the price.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I've seen
I
it.
mean, just looking at it, it looks like M.2 solid state drives are also, I mean, they've gone up a little bit, but it's not too bad. Like,
It's like 20%.
yeah, about.
But yeah, it's not those foundries that they're threatening right now, but there's speculation that that's next because,
I
why
mean,
kill the RAM and not the hard drive too?
yeah, it's just crazy that Crucial would decide, it's got to be at least somewhat profitable. I mean, I doubt they were just tanking money by producing RAM for consumers because people were buying it.
Mhm.
Um,
It's actually, it got pretty tight.
To
I
give
want to say
you
the margins were thin, but go ahead, Artie.
give you an idea, Nvidia is one of their biggest customers.
oh yeah, no, I believe it. And Nvidia kind of did, or maybe it was Nvidia. There was oh man, I can't remember now. But it was another tech company, and I don't know if they just were making the chipsets or the drivers. Basically, they decided like, oh yeah, we're not going to do consumer grade stuff anymore because our biggest customers are the AI. So forget you guys. So I mean, they're not the first ones to fly that flag.
It's going to be an interesting time. I don't know what the next few months are going to look like, but if you don't have parts, hang on. It might get more expensive. It might get cheaper.
I think the other thing too is that SSDs still have traditional spindle hard drives to compete against.
Yeah.
They're still out there. They're still a thing, and they store just as much or more. And so maybe that's why the SSD thing hasn't been as directly affected yet. So
Yep.
who knows?
Well, here's some good news. Santa brings you the Commodore. We talked about the reboot. The gentleman, Mike, you know this guy.
Perry Fractic.
Yeah. He
Yep.
bought Commodore, and he's worked with PCBWay and a couple other people to actually start producing Commodores.
Yep.
OG, original quality Commodores that have some new features attached to them too. Mike, have you looked at the website since I mentioned it?
No, I have not looked at the website since I
Check out
mentioned it.
check out the Founders Edition. I see Jackson's doing it also.
Oh yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
I don't know if it's $600 cool, but I want one.
Hey, it's on 500 right now.
Oh,
Yeah, is this the one
cool.
I think I've seen pictures of this.
Oh man, that's pretty cool.
It's translucent.
Yeah, there we go.
RGB.
So, now I know Mike has talked about this a lot, but like the Commodore for him was what he kind of learned to like
I
code
did
on
learn.
and
I learned to
main-
code on the Commodore 64, yeah.
So is this revive? Where does he want to take it? Does he want to take it to bring the Commodore back to being, the hobbyist, the here, give this to your kid and let them learn how to program, or is it more of just like a nostalgic, keeping the product alive because there are people that love it and it is a cool
It's
thing.
that.
I
Right
think
now, it's that.
yeah, it's a combination of things. You have to understand that the Commodore 64 was the best selling computer platform ever, really. I mean, millions of units sold. I don't remember what the numbers are. So there's a lot of people that grew up on these, and a lot of people who either learned to program or learned to play games or got into just a variety of different things in computing, all because they had a Commodore 64 as their home computer. In fact, I think it's even said that Elon Musk got started on the predecessor to the 64, which is the VIC-20. So there's a lot of history behind this, and a lot of people who still follow it and get into it. And as I've watched on different social media platforms, Facebook in particular, also on YouTube, that there's a lot of people that were historically, I had one back in the day, and it could be that I got rid of it, the family got rid of it, it broke, something happened to it, destroyed in a fire, whatever it is, and so I don't have it anymore. And so then they want to get back into it. And over time, it used to be that you could buy them on eBay for dirt cheap, but then as there started to be more and more of a following, as they became talked about and there's more exposure on social media, the prices have gone up. So now, like on eBay, to buy a working system, you're paying pretty much what you were paying, the same, not adjusting for inflation or anything like that, but dollar for dollar, you were paying the same amount that you would have been paying back in the late 80s, early 90s at the end of Commodore's run. So $200 to $300, and maybe if you get the right deal on eBay, you get not just a computer and a disk drive, but you also get maybe a printer, some cartridges, games, discs, a monitor, some other peripherals, joysticks, et cetera, to complete the whole system, right? Well, the other thing that's happened, though, is because people have kept the nostalgia alive. They have been trying to find ways to innovate and bring newer technology to the Commodore platform. So we've had everything from IDE controllers, network interfaces, Wi-Fi interfaces, new improved joystick interfaces or input devices, things like that. All kinds of things to bring the platform into the modern age, connected to the internet and what have you. Additionally, what's also happened is that people have been rebuilding new technology motherboards instead of using the old original motherboards to mount all the components on. They've scrapped that entire design and built completely new motherboards with new circuitry, and all you have to do is just populate the key IC chips, so like the microprocessor, the sound chip, the video chip, and a couple others, just to get the complete system up and running. But on the motherboard itself, the circuitry has been completely redesigned and laid out differently to take advantage of newer electronics, newer transistors or resistors, capacitors, et cetera, that support all of that functionality. The thing probably runs on a lower voltage than what it used to. His vision of bringing Commodore back was also in combination with pairing up with some of these developers that have been developing the newer stuff. And so one of the platforms that's out there is the Ultimate 64. And so right now you can get one of two flavors. You can get a Commodore Ultimate, I think it's called. Yeah, the Commodore 64 Ultimate, but it's all based on the same technology that this other fellow has developed. His name's Gideon. And he also developed a peripheral for the original 64 called the 1541, Ultimate 1541 is what it's called. And it's a cartridge that plugs into the back of a Commodore 64, but it provides you an emulated disk drive and a whole bunch of other things right at the Commodore. So I have one of those. It's really, really cool because I can interface with the network. I can emulate a disk drive. I can emulate a tape drive. I can emulate printers, and it has its own built-in like command system where you can actually log in from the network and through like Telenet or other controls, control things on the cartridge without having to do it on the Commodore 64. And I don't even know if I've even unlocked and really realized the full potential of what it does, but it's a very fascinating piece of hardware that expands the functionality. The Ultimate 64 is based on that same system and has the same capabilities. And so we're talking about not just the original sound chip, but new and improved sound chips, new and improved video chips, the ability to output to HDMI, the ability to output to, I don't know, maybe 5.1 surround sound or something. I mean,
Here's the one that
it's
I'm interested in. The ability to offer viable software purchases so developers can charge a fair developer wage. You know, they're not going to charge
right,
$80 a software title. They're going to charge like $5 a thing. We're
right.
going to bring it back.
Yeah, it's going to roll back. And I remember those days when you could get software tiles anywhere from like the $5 to $25 range. It was really doable and comfortable back then because
Mhm.
even at 1985 prices, $25 did not seem all that unreasonable for a video game to purchase, and you got the disc, the manuals, the box, everything. It didn't seem unreasonable to pay that much for it. Whereas now it's like I have to pay like 80, $90 for a video game like that I don't even know if I have time to really play or spend that much time on kind of thing. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see where this goes because yes, bringing back the nostalgia and maintaining the nostalgia of what we all grew up with and remembered is great. But I have heard and I've watched him talk about this that he wants to also push for newer developments too and come out with a newer products to go with it. And what that looks like, I don't know. I also look at this in contrast to other hobbyist projects in the retro computing world, especially in Commodore, that we have David Murray, the 8-bit guy who has been coming out with the Commander X16, I believe it's called, which is a really unique, it's like this homebrew 8-bit, although I don't think it's really 8-bit. I think it's actually a larger size than that, but it's like a retro computer, but it's like a modern retro computer, if that makes sense. That it follows a lot of the same principles and has the same kind of interface as retro computing did, but it has the technology and capability that the modern computers have. We're talking millions of colors on the screen at once, high resolution graphics, expanded memory modules, the ability to program epic games like we played on our PC and everything. And so there's all these different things that kind of compete, and I don't know where this fits in with all that. I think the Commodore is going to get a strong following, at least right now it's at the start, because of one, he did secure the trademarks and the branding, and that's been something that people have been trying to do for decades now, because those trademarks have gone and been put on other products that have absolutely nothing to do with the original line of computers. They've been put on
No,
like
he's
cell
he's
phones
done
and,
a
and everything. So he's
fantastic job of pulling it
did a,
together.
yeah, pulling it all together. And he's also had the support of former Commodore employees from back in the
I joined
day.
him.
They joined up with them, and they're there, with their input and everything to kind of help guide the direction. And it is a fascinating thing to see it get revived. I hope he does really well with it. I hope that it's successful, because I'd hate to see it like some of these other things that happen where it's like a Kickstarter. It's like, oh, yay, we made our $50,000 and we're shipping the product, and you see it ship one time thinking it's going to be like a thing that goes on and on and on. But no, it pretty much dies after that first run, and there's no new innovation. They took their money. They went and decided to go do something completely different. I don't know.
And that's
But
why I love the direction he's taken the manufacturing. He's using PCBWay and he's using some other, low run yields
the other nice thing
just
he's
to keep
done,
headroom
at least
down.
with the trademarks, is that he is planning to try to keep those trademarks secured and protected for the long term.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
his plan is not to just be a one and done. We're going to burn through this and it's going to be over. It's going to be a long-term deal. It's just whether or not that can be successful, only time's going to tell.
Yep. Mike, I love your passion on this.
I don't have one yet. I don't plan on getting one. I still have 2 original machines. My one machine's in good working order. I've got another machine that I've got parts for. I just have not had, I'm not going to say I haven't had time. I'm going to say I haven't had the space to pull it out and get the repairs made. Space is a commodity at my house and I don't have enough of it yet. So once some things get worked out, I'll be able to get back to some of these hobby projects that I love.
I think it's an immutable law. The amount of space in the house diminishes with the number of days into the project.
Right.
Well, I hate to pivot before the end of the conversation, guys, but lemon laws.
Ooh. What did you say? I'm interested. I actually saw somebody, I think it was Artie. Didn't you? This is Artie's, isn't it?
Mhm.
And he
Yeah.
cited Steve Lato, which I watch his channel from time to time. And I did see this in my feed, but I have not had a chance to watch his video yet. So I really, really want to hear about this one.
Okay.
Hang on to your seat. This is a fun one. Artie, you want to talk this one?
Yeah, I can address the initial aspects of it. Essentially, somebody bought a car. I forget the brand right now, but the car came with a subscription to a satellite radio service, and when that free period for that service lapsed, the center dash would start putting an ad up saying, hey, you want to resubscribe? And you would have to actively click out of it every time. And it would come up consistently while driving.
It
So
hijacked.
It would hijack and it would disable the use of the center panel. So
Really?
the person that was involved with this, he took it back to the dealership and said, "Can you fix this problem? Can you fix this problem?" And in the state that that person was located in, after you had to take it back to the dealership a certain number of times before they would qualify it as a lemon. So they went through all the steps, and because the dealership was not able to fix this problem that was part of the design of the car, it fell under the lemon law. And for anybody listening, each state has its own requirements for the lemon law, and this might not fall under those laws in some states, but in a lot of them it does. If it's something that prevents the sale or resale of the vehicle or diminishes the value of the vehicle, it can qualify as a lemon. And something that
No, you're
disables a core function of the car, in my opinion, qualifies.
Now, to be clear, we're talking the center panel, which is usually for things like the radio, the environmental controls,
Correct.
et cetera, right? This is not the dashboard where all the critical safety items are, like your speedometer and
No.
fuel
No.
gauge and things like that.
This
But
is
still-
stuff like climate control and
Yeah, But
other
that's
things like that.
still like expected function. Like I expect to be able to use all the functions on my car. And if I've got something that's blocking that, that's terrible.
that you can't turn off.
Right.
Now, the other thing, you put it into reverse, you start backing up, and then the ad comes up.
Oh, not my backup cam? No backup cam? That could be a safety feature.
Oh,
That
definitely.
could be a safety problem.
And I know we spoke a few months back about certain car companies are removing the visual aspect of that, the not the visual aspect, the usage of that as controls.
Right.
So-
Touch
So you hard
screen and all
buttons
that.
instead of a touchscreen.
Yes.
Yeah. We did talk about that.
Well, here's
So-
another one. Ad companies have been trying to figure out how to put ads in your car. So even with your radio off, your car gives you an ad, much like this one.
Stupid.
Know the laws in your state. Everybody watching this. Because if your car starts advertising to you, take it to the dealer, do the things you need to do, make the ads stop. Let's fight back on this one.
Well, if it's not going to happen, I'm just going to go to a dealership and say, look, give me that car for free. Because I'm not going to pay money for something that I have to keep paying money for through advertising. Like if you're
Yep.
going to run ads on me 24/7 and I become the product, then you owe me that car.
Yep.
And let's see how long that lasts. I'm pretty sure dealers would be like, no, that's not going to work for us.
Well, and I want to wrap this episode up on something I didn't introduce on the beginning. A new 5-4 decision came down from the Supreme Court
Ooh, about what?
about using unwarranted public information to locate people. Artie's on a motorcycle this week.
That only came through to you guys. It didn't come through on the recording.
So
Oh,
sorry,
that's-
say that again.
So I will paraphrase badly, but there's somebody that took his case to the Supreme Court talking
Mhm.
about how he was surveilled using public information used by data brokers, obtained by the prosecution without a warrant.
Hmm.
And the issue at hand is, does your existence in the public sphere completely remove your Fourth Amendment protections? The answer is no. You still have an expectation of privacy, even though you're walking down the street or driving down the street.
I wonder if
There's
what this
also,
does
I
for a
think it's
bunch of
Fourth Circuit or
cameras.
Seventh Circuit. Yeah. Fourth Circuit or Seventh Circuit has a ruling out there that you can't put GPS trackers on cars, or at least law enforcement can't. We're about to see Flock get challenged.
Right.
Get involved, everybody. Just I can't. This is turning from information into like a civics call to action, but stay involved. Know what's going on. Do the digital hygiene.
Right.
Don't sit back and take it. But all these stories we talk about all the time on this podcast. Please, if you like this, hit like. If you're very interested in seeing where some of these stories go, where our thoughts and what our mindset is, we got an older generation, we got a younger generation. What's the perspectives? What's the differences? Subscribe to find out. Until next time, I'm John.
And Mike.
I'm Jackson.
And I am wallowing in complexity.
State of complexity. It's a good state. Better than the state